It could be Jeff Mullins. It could be Jerry West. It could be, but it isn't. It's Warriors girls basketball, and can these girls play? It may be new to you, but it's certainly not to them. Led by the fabulous Denise Long, the world's greatest girl basketball player, these young ladies have been shooting them through the hoop for most of their young lives. Girls basketball is fast, it's exciting, and as you've already discovered, it's attractive. Though the sport itself is played in schools in many parts of the country, its roots were formed in the state of Iowa. But it was a man in San Francisco whose idea it was to form an entire league. His name is Franklin Mieuli. He's the owner of the San Francisco Warriors of the National Basketball Association, and he explains what prompted the idea.
Well, of course, it's been pretty well established that girl basketball has had great development throughout the country in the last few years, and mostly around Iowa. And then on top of that, for the first time ever in the history of the Olympic Games, girl basketball has become a full accredited sport in the 1972 Olympics. And if we can do something here in San Francisco that will keep the girls in shape and ready to put our best feminine foot forward in the world of basketball, then we think it will be a pleasant chore for us.
As more girls basketball is played in Iowa than anywhere in the country, undoubtedly the person most qualified to discuss the subject is Wayne Cooley. For 15 years, he's headed up the girls basketball program in high schools throughout the state. Wayne Cooley explains to what extent the game was designed to best display the talents of these young ladies.
My original preface, by and large, the rules are tailored to accommodate the physical abilities of the female or the high school girl. We recognize that the girl has certain advantages the boy doesn't have. Basically, the female has greater sensitivity and touch in the hand than the male basketball player has. We've conducted research in this area. The physiological level as associated with kinesiology, we know that the girl's fingers and the hands are more sensitive. This will explain why the girl will shoot free throws with a greater degree of accuracy than the very finest boy free throw shooter anywhere in the nation, whether it be on the professional level or the high school level, the collegiate level, whatever you may have. And as you view the game, you'll find that girls basketball is a tremendously high-scoring game. For instance, it is not uncommon for the score of a game played in 4 8-minute quarters, which is a total of 32 minutes of play for a game, to end up in the 80s or the 90s or the 100s. We played a state championship game in the state of Iowa that was televised into 9 states just 2 years ago that ended up 101-101. Now that's 202 points played in 32 minutes of time, and to you listeners and viewers who may be able to figure that out, that probably is somewhere between 6 and 7 points per minute.
Denise Long is the highest scorer in the history of girls basketball. Take a look at this girl with the red hairband in action, and you'll see why. She's the only girl ever drafted by a professional basketball team when the Warriors selected her at this year's draft meeting in New York. Being in the spotlight is nothing new for this 18-year-old girl from Whitten, Iowa, who once scored 111 points in a single game. In a high school career which saw her play before crowds of 15,000 people, Denise scored 50 points a game as a sophomore, more than 60 as a junior, and her senior year averaged almost 70 a game. Let's see how she does it. First, with the left hand. Next, with the right hand. And sometimes with both. Denise Long, the world's greatest girl basketball player.
Earlier, you had a chance to watch the girls scrimmaging under game conditions. However, you may have noticed, and I'll point out to you if you didn't, that the girls were wearing practice jerseys at the time you watched the scrimmage. However, once the season gets underway, you'll have a chance to see the girls in their regular outfits. And to demonstrate what these outfits will look like, I'm going to call in 2 of our girls right now. This is Vicki Weave on my right and Denise Long on my left. And Vicki, suppose you describe the type uniform that you have on and the advantages of this uniform.
Well, this uniform is more like a tennis uniform, and it's very loose-fitting, and you can move a lot better in it. It's cool.
And that's a big advantage, especially in a warm gymnasium.
Right.
All right, Denise, I know that you discussed this a little while ago, too, that in what ways do you find the uniform, let's say, functional as far as shooting is concerned?
Well, one thing good about this uniform, it's knit, and so it makes it more easy to move. And also, there's no buttons or zippers in this uniform, so I mean, you can't run a chance of, breaking a zipper or popping a button or anything. And when you go up in the air, it just kind of gives with you.
One other thing, too, I ought to point out. Vicki, let me ask this of you. The fact that you are basketball players certainly does not detract from the fact that you are young ladies, and I think having that style of a uniform makes you feel that at all times you are a girl.
Right, it does.
All right, girls, I want to thank you for demonstrating these uniforms and showing the people who are watching that not only will they see good basketball, but they'll see good fashion as well.
When the call went out to form this league, girls responded from as far away as Florida, Hawaii, and 35 states in between. There's probably a girl here from your state, all of them under the supervision of League Commissioner Bill Helbush, who is certainly no stranger to schedule making, officiating, and overall supervision. Warrior girls basketball and television go hand in hand. A rather nice picture when you stop to think about it. At a time when many complain of having to watch the same old thing in sports, girls basketball comes to the rescue. Girls basketball is unique. Girls basketball is different. Girls basketball is excitingly new. It offers one of the rare opportunities left to be there at the very beginning. Some people think girls basketball is a long shot. We feel it can't miss.